In a striking escalation of political rhetoric, Democratic Alliance (DA) leader John Steenhuisen jolted the South African political scene with a sharp accusation. He claimed that President Cyril Ramaphosa is not only the head of the ruling African National Congress (ANC), but also the leader of what he described as a cult-like following that endangers the nation's democracy. His words echoed like a thunderclap across the country, resonating deeply with citizens already burdened by persistent rolling blackouts, soaring unemployment, and repeated corruption scandals. Public frustration with government failures has long been simmering, and in this context, Steenhuisen's remarks struck a deep chord of anger, mistrust, and disillusionment. At a fiery press conference in Cape Town, the DA leader directly accused the ANC under Ramaphosa of abandoning sound governance in exchange for blind loyalty and unquestioned obedience. His tone was measured but intense, declaring that South Africa now faces something darker than incompetence, mismanagement, or corruption. According to him, Ramaphosa is shielded by a circle of loyalists who will go to any lengths to protect him. This, he stressed, is no longer about principles or policies, it is about defending one man at all costs. Steenhuisen charged that the ANC treats Ramaphosa as if he were untouchable, brushing aside mounting scandals and silencing critics both inside and outside the party. When parliamentarians read scripted lines, when dissenting voices are suppressed, and accountability is discarded for the sake of defending a single individual, he argued, we are no longer living in a democracy, but in a cult of personality. By invoking the image of a cult, Steenhuisen moved beyond routine opposition critique and reframed the ANC's role as not just corrupt or inefficient, but fundamentally dangerous to South Africa's democratic survival. He compared the party's inner workings to a secretive sect where decisions are made behind closed doors and imposed without debate, fostering a culture of conformity that erodes democracy at its core. In his assessment, ANC leaders no longer govern by consensus but by decree, replacing accountability with blind loyalty. We now live in a system where devotion is not to the constitution or the people, but to one man. That is not democracy, he insisted. That is cultism. This comparison carried weight in part because South Africa's democratic institutions have long been battered by scandal, from the infamous Zuma-era state capture exposés to Ramaphosa's own controversial Farmgate affair. Allegations of cover-ups and impunity have only fueled public cynicism. The ANC swiftly retaliated, dismissing Steenhuisen's comments as reckless, derogatory, and intentionally provocative. President Ramaphosa is a democratically elected leader, not a cult figure, the party declared in an official statement, calling the DA's claims baseless and insulting to millions of South Africans who voted for him. A senior ANC official went further, accusing Steenhuisen of exploiting the country's hardships to score cheap political points. Yet behind closed doors, insiders admitted the DA leader's remarks struck a nerve. Some ANC sources privately conceded that, while inflammatory, Steenhuisen's comments could resonate with ordinary citizens frustrated by the perception that Ramaphosa is shielded from accountability despite repeated governance failures. Political analysts offered a more balanced view, noting that while Steenhuisen's choice of language was theatrical, it did shine a light on the ANC's entrenched culture of loyalty and patronage. Dr. Farinda, a political commentator, explained that for decades, the ANC has operated with a practice of protecting its leaders from criticism, whether it was Jacob Zuma or now Cyril Ramaphosa. Referring to it as a cult may be an exaggeration, he argued, but it reflects how many ordinary South Africans feel about the ANC's insularity. Others, however, warned that this framing could inflame an already polarized environment. Janine du Plessis, a professor at Wits University, cautioned that while it is fair to critique the ANC's loyalty-driven culture, labeling it a cult risks turning a political debate into an emotional confrontation rather than an exchange of ideas. Such a framing, she suggested, might backfire among South Africans at large. Public reaction reflected this polarization. On social media, the hashtag Ramaphosa cult trended within hours. Supporters of Steenhuisen argued that Ramaphosa has been shielded from legitimate criticism, even as he failed to deliver on promises to create jobs, overhaul the energy sector, and tackle corruption. He can do no wrong in the eyes of his loyalists. That's exactly what a cult looks like, one user posted. Others dismissed the DA leader's remarks as exaggerated and unhelpful, with one commenter stating, "We don't need name-calling. We need solutions." Street-level opinions mirrored this divide. In Soweto, a frustrated university graduate declared, "The ANC protects Ramaphosa while we sit in darkness and joblessness. Steenhuisen is right, it's as if they idolize him." But in Durban, a pensioner countered, "Calling our president a cult leader is insulting. He was chosen through democracy, and the DA offers no real answers for ordinary people." These accusations come at a time of immense national frustration. Load shedding continues to cripple the economy, unemployment remains at historic highs, and corruption scandals cast a shadow over nearly every sector of government. Against this backdrop, Steenhuisen's words resonated with many, even as ANC leaders rejected them outright. For the DA, this appears to be a deliberate strategy, painting the ANC not only as incompetent but as a sinister threat to democracy itself. Analysts believe Steenhuisen's rhetoric is part of a broader plan to sharpen the DA's electoral positioning. By branding Ramaphosa's leadership as cult-like, the DA casts itself as the defender of democratic principles in contrast to what it describes as blind, destructive loyalty within the ANC. This narrative allows the DA to present itself not just as an opposition party but as a guardian of democracy. Such a stance could appeal to disillusioned voters who have lost faith in the ANC yet remain uncertain about the DA's own ability to govern. It also positions Steenhuisen to challenge emerging parties like Action SA and the EFF, both of which have been chipping away at the DA's support base.